I'm going to make a little larger one. This is going to be a bowl, and it will be made just like a smaller bowl, except bigger. Sometimes hold my hands a little different on a large bowl. The difference between a small one and a big one is that the larger ones require a little bit more strength. Needless to say, this wheel is perfectly capable of handling a very large ball of clay like this. This is 25 pounds. And what I'm doing is I'm beginning to put it on center just by pushing it and forcing it onto the center this way. When you're working with a real big hunk of clay, it's a good idea to give yourself a head start. Always should have a clay in a ball when it goes on the wheel to center. Don't ever put a square or a chunk on. That just makes your work a lot harder. And I'm lazy. I just have it as easy as I can possibly make it. It's very important that I brace my arms against my legs. My leg is really snug up against the side of this wheel. Okay. I'll begin by opening just like we did before. If you notice I'm not talking quite so much, it's because I'm concentrating more because the clay is larger. In this case, I need to come back in with this hand. And I'm bracing one hand against the other as I go down on the inside. This hand I'm holding this way and pressing down. When I think I'm deep enough, I can check it with my needle tool. It's always better to check than it is to not check and wish you had. Okay. Now we're going to open this a lot like we did the last time. If you remember the last time with the small piece, held my hands together like this and opened. In this case, I can't brace my hands against each other, but I'm going to pull out with the inside hand and lift against the outside hand. I'm opening this just like I did a smaller bowl, pulling out and up, squeezing and lifting. One thing that is important, I think, to notice about bigger pieces is when I make smaller ones, I brace my hands together and work like this. And with bigger ones, I'm unable to do that because of the size. And so it requires a little bit more strength. Notice how I'm bracing my right arm against my leg. This is a little uneven at the top, so I want to trim that off, and I'm going to trim that off before I stretch it out because I run a greater risk of losing it if I wait until it is stretched out to the side. Making the rim a little thicker, it helps it hold its shape. Now, one thing that I need to do, I need to make sure that I leave enough clay to support the bottom, because if I don't, this whole thing will collapse. I've got a new tool here. This is called a throwing rib, and it will help me shape the inside shape. It's important to remember that I want the inside shape to match the outside shape, and I've got some nasty finger marks in here that I want to get out. So I'll use this. I'll start at the top and go to the center. I never want to start in the center and move towards the top. That throws the whole thing off. But if I start at the top and go to the center, it works just fine. When you're making a real big bowl like this, there's a kind of a point of diminishing returns. If you're making a bowl with 1 pound of clay, you can usually get a 1 pound bowl. When you're making a 25 pound ball of clay, you're not going to get a 25 pound bowl, you probably get a 15 pound bowl. A lot of wasted clay with it. Got a little bad spot here in the bottom that I want to get out. Start at the top, come down. I want the inside shape to be the same as the outside shape. So when I trim the outside, I'll match it to the inside. Finish it off the same way that do all the others. Taking this wooden tool, we'll come along here. Okay, I'm going to treat this just the same as any other piece. Cut that away. Cut it off. Take the cutoff wire. Slice it. And that's it.